won't try because they are continuing to try. They know the significance of the internet. They know that we will not get the information from the major news networks. Just take, for instance, one issue that I have not heard at once in all these 20-some debates we've had. One small question was brought up on an issue that should be crucial to all of us, and that is the National Defense Authorization. People know about it, they know how bad it is, and they're concerned about it, and they know the significance of it.
They're going to come get us,
this has been going on, and yet they seem to have put their head in the sand and think it's necessary. The National Defense Authorization Act has given the authority to the President to use the military to arrest any American citizen that he considers a suspect, deny him attorney, put him in prison, and hold him indefinitely. If we want to live in a republic and if we want to defend our personal liberties, it has to be reversed. But of course, there are a few other things that we're going to have to reverse too. There's a systematic undermining of our liberties.
Oh, you're killing me.
Of course, 9/11 was a disastrous day, but we haven't explained it fully. We haven't fully understood it. We haven't changed our foreign policy. Many in Washington would like you to believe that the only reason anybody would do us harm ever is because we're free and prosperous. That is not true.
That's not true.
Hey, and since 9/11, of course, within 2 weeks after 9/11, a bill was passed that has been floating around for several years. They wanted it passed, but 9/11 gave it an opportunity for those who would like to crack down on the freedoms in this country. So the Patriot Act was passed. And when the time comes that we restore our liberties and restore the republic, the Patriot Act will be repealed. Notion and codify the idea that any federal official and any law enforcement agent can write their own search warrants. Walk into our houses, look at our internet, look at all our financial records, look at our medical records without a search warrant. What happened to the Fourth Amendment? It has been repealed if we don't reverse this idea of the Patriot Act. I've often said that the Patriot Act was passed, and I had other members of Congress confess this was true. How could I vote against the Patriot Act under these circumstances? And they said it would be so hard to explain to my people back home. An individual told me that. I said, well, that's your job. Go back home and explain it to them why you're not voting. But the Patriot Act now has introduced the very visible consequences of that type of authority at our airports. If we as a people can sit and watch the pictures on television showing the groping and the x-raying and the undressing of 90-year-old women in wheelchairs, if we put up with that and tolerate that, there's something wrong with us, and the TSA needs to be reined in and needs to be removed. The president approximately a year ago, announced a new policy. He didn't even wait for a law to be passed. He announced a policy that says the president now has the authority to assassinate American citizens. I mean, this is not quite believable, but it's happening. He's already assassinated 3 American citizens. Traitor! But the person that was assassinated probably was no angel. But he said some things that sounded like he was antagonizing and promoting violence, which, quite possibly is the case. But that means he's a suspect. That means that he should be arrested and tried and convicted and prosecuted and executed if necessary. But to declare by oneself that we can assassinate these people, I mean, it takes away, yes, you say, well, he was a bad guy. But that means that we become vulnerable to the same rule of law that that punishes these bad people. Think how many bad people have been properly prosecuted. Did Timothy McVeigh just get assassinated because most people think he was a bad guy? No, he was arrested and given a trial. Adolf Eichmann was arrested many years after World War II ended. He was taken to Israel and was given a trial. The war criminals after World War II were given trials, but this pretense that we don't need trials anymore is a very, very dangerous trend. That is why we have to be very, very alert to what's happening. The good news, though, is a lot of people are waking up. The remnant, of course, is waking up. We are victims of bad ideas that have been floating around, bad ideas about our obligations to be the savior of the world, bad ideas on monetary policy. And the only way we can compensate and change this is to have the right ideas and good ideas and sound economic ideas. And that's where we're excelling. And I, quite frankly, believe we're way ahead of what I would ever predicted even 5 or 10 years ago. I knew it would come. I knew ideas cannot be stopped by armies when their time has come. The time has come for the reviving of these ideas of liberty. They cannot be stopped, but it's still ahead of what I might have predicted. Even in the last 4 years, it's been fantastic. Especially what has happened is the declaration or the announcement by the failure of government economically. They can't keep spending and printing money and adding more wars on and thinking this is going to bring us peace and prosperity. The recession is here. They know it's a failed policy. They know for once in 100 years, the first time it has become a popular notion that the Federal Reserve has serious problems and we have to deal with it. So we see this as much as an opportunity or as anything, that it is so apparent that this country is bankrupt and they can't continue. They just can't keep spending money and borrowing money. It's a failed economic policy, and of course it's a failed policy on the protection of liberty. I think this is a consequence of many years ago, various economic policies and foreign policies that were deeply flawed. But also the concept of liberty went astray. The founders understood it, and I believe it was the right understanding, that freedom that is given to us in a natural way means that we have a right to our life, and we have a right to our liberties to run our life as we so choose. And that those individuals that defend economic liberty sometimes don't defend these personal liberties and social liberties, and some who defend social liberties don't defend economic liberties. So if you truly believe in freedom for the individual, you have to believe that you have both social and personal liberty and economic liberty, and put the package back